Megan says, "Hi, Raf. Thanks for doing these informative Ask Me Anythings." My pleasure, Megan. "I have a new older client, and as I've been trying to teach his diaphragmatic breathing, I've realised his ribs expand on the inhale but don't funnel back down on the exhale. What could be causing this? I believe his shoulders seem relaxed away from his ears." All right. So there are a couple of things about that don't compute for me, Megan. So firstly, let's think about what diaphragmatic breathing is. All right. So in your torso, if we do your lumbar spine, here is your thoracic spine, here is your rib cage. Here's your pelvis, there's your sacrum. Looks like a pair of holly leaves there. All right, so your diaphragm muscle is essentially here. Like that. And your lungs are like that. And they are, believe it or not, essentially glued, attached to the top of the diaphragm. Now, when you inhale at rest, what happens is your diaphragm straightens out. It contracts. So it goes from a curved line to it shortens. It descends, okay? And so now it's contracted, it's got shorter, and the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So now it pulls your lungs down because they're attached to it, and now your lungs are bigger. So your lungs are bigger, there's more space inside, so now the air inside your lungs takes up more space, so it's thinner. And so the pressure of the outside atmosphere is greater than the pressure inside your lungs, and so the pressure outside forces air in, air rushes in to fill up that partial vacuum that you've created in your lungs by the diaphragm descending. And then when you want to breathe out, well, you relax your diaphragm, okay, and you, to a certain extent, the elastic recoil of your lungs and let me go back a step. So when your diaphragm descends, okay, it goes from here, okay, goes from there to there. Well, what's underneath the diaphragm is there's your spleen, there's your stomach, there's your liver, there's your small intestine, okay, there's your large intestine. Okay, so you've got all those, and there's a couple of other bits and bobs in there like kidneys and gallbladders and things like that. But, basically there's a bunch of stuff in there, and that's called your viscera. Your viscera, the bits inside you. And so when your diaphragm goes from that to that and pushes down, well, it pushes down, right? So it pushes your viscera down. And your viscera can't go down because there's a bone under them. There's a bone under them called your pelvis, and your pelvis is full of stuff as well, like your bladder and your uterus and muscles and things. So there's not space in the pelvis for the guts to descend into the pelvis. So the guts can't go down. So guess where they go? They go out. They go out. Okay, and so that is why when you breathe in through your diaphragm, your tummy puffs out. And if you sit or lie quietly and put a hand on your belly and take a deep breath into your belly, you're not actually breathing into your belly. You don't have lungs in your belly. But instead, your diaphragm is descending and pushing your viscera down into downwards, and they are displacing laterally. They can't get down further, so they spread out. All right, so diaphragmatic breathing then doesn't involve movement of the ribs. Really, it pretty much should involve almost no movement of the ribs. So when you're saying that your client is ribs expand on the inhale, well, that is a giveaway to me that he is not diaphragmatic breathing. So here's what diaphragmatic breathing looks like. Here's what non-diaphragmatic breathing looks like. So that's a chest breath, which is not a bad thing. It's just a chest breath. Here's a diaphragmatic breath. This hand doesn't move. This hand does move. So that could be a good exercise for you to do with him, is two hands there. And you can do this lying on his back with his knees bent in what's called crook lying. And so for him to focus on not moving this hand, not moving his chest so his hand doesn't get pushed up, but moving, with his breath, the hand on the belly. And he'll probably be able to get that fairly quickly if you just let him lie there and muck around with it. So that's the first thing, is that if his chest is moving at all, it's really probably not diaphragmatic breathing. The second thing is that what you say is that his ribs expand on the inhale, but they don't funnel back down on the exhale. Well, to me, that doesn't compute, because if his ribs go up on the inhale, well, what happens next time he inhales? They go up more and more and more and more and more and more and more. They never come down, eventually float off. So they must be coming down. If they're going up and then he's subsequently able to take another breath afterwards, after exhaling, then they must be going down. So I would say it is happening. You're just not picking it up. And if his ribs are rising, he's not doing diaphragmatic breath correctly. So focus on moving the belly and keeping the ribs still. Hope that helps.